the Northwest Weather Podcast from Fox 13 Seattle.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Northwest Weather Podcast. This is episode 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Brian McMillan. We got meteorologist Abby Aconi here. Hi, Abby.
Hi.
And our traffic guru, Mr. Adam Gerke. Hey, Adam.
Aloha, yeah.
All right, we are shooting this on the day after April Fools. Did you either of you get fooled for April Fools?
I didn't, but I was remembering my college pranks. Most proudest one,
What's that?
putting the boys' belongings in Jell-O and laying it out at lunch.
In Jello. So it was like very much a The Office
Yeah,
situation
what?
with the stapler.
We
That's
had
pretty
a
good.
stapler, we had a book.
That takes
it was
planning.
gross. It did. It was
Wow.
incredible.
How about you, Adam?
I did not get, there were no April Fools in our house. However, I do recall also one of the great college pranks. Did you ever short sheet a bed?
Yes.
If you had a really strong roommate who then put his foot through his sheet, that was always like
dear.
the signature of a well short sheeted bed.
We did, one of my half brothers, when he got married, we actually went to his house and messed with everything. We put saran wrap over the
no.
toilet. We put Vaseline
dear.
on the doorknobs. I mean, it was a whole thing. I know, it was, now I look back on it, it's just like, yeah, it was my parents' idea too. It was their idea. I don't know why. I think mine, we saran wrapped one of my friends' cars in college.
Yep.
And so we
That
just,
takes dedication.
and they were late to class because they had to get the saran wrap off. It was so much saran wrap. Well, I hope you had a good April Fool's Day, and I hope you weren't fooled too hard. We got a lot to talk about here on this episode. We're going to talk about what happened last week, last Wednesday, during that severe thunderstorm watch here around the Puget Sound area. We're going to talk about what to look forward to here in the month of April. We're in April, and we're going to be doing another edition of our City of the Week.
Boy, oh boy.
And Adam's got this one.
Yeah.
I forgot the bell, but we'll make a ding-ding sound anyway.
You're going down, Brian.
No, I don't
Are you
think
ready
so.
for it?
I think I'm ready. I'm ready for
Okay.
this. But let's start
Interesting.
with what happened on March 26th.
What
that
did
was
happen?
last
What
Wednesday.
didn't happen, Brian?
Okay. Well, leading up to this, several different model runs were showing something that was very unique to our area.
Yeah.
Okay. We had record temperatures last week. On that Tuesday, we were expecting a potential for record temperatures on Wednesday as well. And if you're watching us right now, you can see this was one of the graphics that the Storm Prediction Center, which is based in Norman, Oklahoma, sent out. And those are the real experts.
Yes.
They forecast all over the country
The
severe
leading
weather.
agency for
Yes.
severe weather.
Yes, so them, on top of the National Weather Service, all these national organizations, and our local meteorologists as well, we're all in agreement that this could potentially happen. This graphic that you're looking at here behind us, and I can explain it if you're listening on the podcast, was a severe hail outlook. Okay, and this was the most eye-catchy because we weren't expecting tornadoes, but we were expecting a potential for some large hail that we just don't see in this area, right? So Western Washington, in that yellow area, and especially in that area that has the little hatched lines, those little diagonal black lines, there was a potential for seeing hail of 2 inches or larger in those areas, okay?
It's like a hen's egg.
That really got people's
Or
attention.
a lime, yeah.
And as it should, right? I mean, the forecasts were trending that way. We were looking at that potential for some large hail. And so, a lot of people took some precautions with their cars and things like that. So the big question is, what happened? Well, what did actually happen is we got some good lightning, like some lightning that moved through the Puget Sound area. We had the thunderstorms we were expecting. They just didn't turn severe, Abby.
That's right. And you know what? A lot of people are questioning the legitimacy of the forecast, right? If it didn't pan out exactly. But all of the ingredients were there. It was remarkable. It was honestly astounding looking at all of the different factors, including the available energy for that storm. Just incredibly high for our area.
And I would say with something like this, with severe thunderstorms, you definitely need the 4 ingredients. You need some moisture, you need lift, you need instability, and you need shear. Now, the instability part here, typically when you have the warmer air down toward the surface, okay, and what we needed that day were temperatures probably around 70 degrees. What ended up happening with the forecast that day, and it's you know what? It's one of those things that we deal with here in the Puget Sound area, is that we got those cloud cover in the morning, and it stuck around. And it stuck around too long, And so instead of a high of 72 degrees, we had a high of 64 degrees. I really think that made all the difference in keeping us safer that day.
You know what's interesting, though, is that morning, my wife went out into the backyard. Our neighbors have chickens behind us, and the chickens were going nuts. And she looked out, and they were going bonkers. It was hailing that morning in our neighborhood. So, I mean, we did get hail, but it happened well before the big event was supposed to happen.
Hailing on chickens. I'm glad it wasn't too large.
Yeah. And these were like, this was the size of peas. This was, like those small, the Northwest
the
style.
Tiny hail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just say one quick thing? That the bust on the instability, the low levels not warming up as much, that type of thing happens so often in severe weather country. Tornado Alley, the Midwest. I was in a severe weather market for a while in Colorado, and a lot of viewers and people understand that things might not get as severe if you don't warm up enough. And sometimes the forecast models don't have a handle on how quickly the clouds will clear or how warm it's going to get. So it was a very common scenario to see us not get that instability.
And this was a level 2 out of a level, 5 levels here in regards to the severe thunderstorm risk.
Yeah.
And on top of that, when you look at this map that we're talking about, the severe hail outlook map, the percentage chance was between 15 and 29% that we would get that large hail. So there was, a 70% chance that we wouldn't get that large hail. So there's that part of it as well. So, did it pan out as forecast, or as, I guess you could say, hyped by some online folks or some websites? I think we did a pretty good job of not trying to hype this up, but really talking about, okay, here's kind of the worst case scenario, here's the best kind of case scenario. And I think some folks wanted to see what big hail is like. They were a little disappointed, but at least our cars are doing okay. And you know what? Good on you. For those of you who put blankets on your cars, and put cardboard on your cars, and pillows,
pizza boxes, packing blankets, all of the above. It looked like derelict. It was like, what is this rolling piece of garbage that we have? It was amazing.
But it's good preparation, because you know what? At some point we'll get another one. Maybe in 10 years we'll get another one of these severe
We'll be ready.
They're really rare, though, around here. I mean, we had not had a severe thunderstorm watch in Seattle until, you can go back decades to at least 1999. Right? And it could be even longer than that. They weren't exactly sure when in Seattle we had the last one of those. That was interesting. I always kind of think about some of this severe weather, or if we're talking about snowstorms, or if we're talking about extreme wind events, that for the Seattle area, because of our proximity to the ocean, everything has to be perfect. It's more like baking than cooking.
Such a good explainer.
In some areas of the country, severe weather can be more like cooking instead of baking, if that makes sense. Because baking, you have to be exact. The ingredients have to be perfect. And if one of those little ingredients is off, you put a little too much salt in it, now it tastes bad, or it doesn't rise, or whatever may happen, right? So that's kind of what we deal with here.
Brian, that is a picture-perfect explainer.
Okay,
I loved that. Round of applause.
Yes.
Our chief is the best.
Anyway, that was last Wednesday, and since then, it's been pretty nice and calm.
Hallelujah. Let me just say that. It's been great.
That was a long 48 hours for us. Let's talk about April. Abby, you were talking about this all morning long.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we can expect here as we move forward in a month that is kind of a transitional month here into some warmer weather.
I mean, April can be such a mixed bag, right? You have these cool, cloudy, showery days, and then you have these kind of false summers in a way, where you have a couple highs, the upper 60s and the low 70s. And you know what? We really need a cool and wet spring to help delay the start of fire season. So when we see the showers, we love to see it. Okay, so the average high, the first of the month, is 57, but then by the end of April, we get you to 63. We average about 15 days every April with measurable rain. So about half of the days we're going to be seeing some showers. And I believe we average about 2 days with temperatures of at least 70 degrees. By the time we get into May, that jumps to 8 days with temperatures of at least 70. In June, we got 14. And a reminder that in September, we're still hanging on to the warmth. We can average 15 days with temperatures
A lot of
at least
people
70.
don't think of September as warm, but September is kind of an extension of our summer sometimes.
It's very mild.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So in our yard, moss this year has gone bonkers.
I know. I got to get that moss killer out.
What is the deal? Because
Yeah.
I'm relating that to temperatures, rainfall, all the above, because what's the deal with this?
It could be more cloudy days, that sun not breaking through. It could be that. I've been seeing that too. That's a really good question. I should look into that. But I'm going to have to get the moss killer out a little bit more this year.
I've been spraying it religiously in all the locations that need clearing.
Yeah.
So, roofs included. Got to do that too. Otherwise, you get the mossy roof. You don't want that.
I love the 70-degree days, and we can get a decent amount in April, right?
Yeah, we can. So we looked back. There was the record for the most 70-degree plus days in April was 1977. We had 9 of those days. And then one of the warmest Mays on record was 1992. We had 18 days that May with temperatures of at least 70 degrees. So we're excited for the warmth, but then we're also a little worried about the mountain snowpack. When I looked at it the other day, we were in the 60th percentile of normal for the Central Cascades. So we need more.
What's really telling about it is if you take I-90 and you head to eastern Washington, you've got Lake Ketchilas and Lake Cochise, which are the big reservoirs up there. And I haven't been up there in the last couple months, but usually we can tell how a snowpack is doing along with how much water we have on reserve, depending on how many stumps are covered. Last few times I've driven through that area, it's been a lot of stumps exposed, which is kind of a spooky sign. I don't like the looks of that personally.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. So headed east on I-90. Look to your. It's on your right if you're headed to eastern Washington.
And before we move on, Adam, you have a special story airing tomorrow.
Yes.
Here, and I want. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Give us a little preview.
Yeah. So the city of Kenmore recently deployed several round-the-clock cameras in school zones watching speeds. Normally the cameras are set up in school zones to patrol for school speeds, right? So like 20 miles an hour during school hours. And so when the lights are flashing, folks have to slow down to 20 miles an hour. Well, when they're not flashing, it's 30 miles an hour. Well, the city of Kenmore, based on legislation that happened here in Washington in 2024, Washington has said any municipality can now open that up so they can use those cameras to enforce speeds 24 hours a day. So that means they're enforcing the 30-mile-an-hour speed in through that school zone. A lot of folks aren't used to that, and so they're getting dinged $110 fine driving through these. If they're driving, say, 36 miles an hour, boom, they're getting hit for it. And so it's happening in Kenmore, but it's also happening in Lake Forest Park, and it's happening in more and more locations. So this is something we're going to see growing around Western Washington and probably Eastern Washington for the matter.
I'll tell you what, it has changed my driving habits.
Mine too.
And whenever I see these zones, or see, I am perfectly 30 miles an hour.
Red alert.
Yes.
Same.
Yeah.
What's the threshold? Like, how, can you get to 35?
The camera triggers at 36, but let's not chance it.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
And so when we went out and watched this, we actually stood. It was funny because we're wearing vests on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Everyone's slowing down. Oh, men in vests. That must be important. we stepped off the curb and into the parking lot near the camera, and within, I'd say, a minute, boom, flash of the strobe went off, and the cameras were going because the guys in vests aren't there to patrol. So it was very evident that our presence being there in vests and near the camera, people knew enough. But the instant we stepped out of frame, I'll chance it. Boom.
All right.
Gosh, this stresses me out.
I know.
I'm just thinking about it, but I'm excited to watch that story.
You can see that tomorrow on Good Day Seattle. You can also watch it online as well. That'll be posted online, and so check that out, Adam's story.
Yeah.
Adam, it is your turn for our City of the Week. It is time. Here we go.
All right.
Let's do it. And by the way, before we get going, Adam has picked a city here in Western Washington. I'm assuming it's in Western Washington. And he's going to give us some clues. You can play at home, and then we'll guess it. All right, here we go.
So this city is near and dear to my heart. In 1855, a skirmish with Native Americans garnered or gave this city its name. The city then, at the time, became known as Slaughter, Washington. Slaughter, Washington. The resident hotel and watering hole was known as the Slaughtering House. Later, because people kind of thought, ugh, this is kind of a gritty name for a town, they changed the city's name, which is the name I'm hoping you two will be able to guess based on the clues that I'm giving you. So it has ever since had this more picturesque name, not Slaughter, Washington. This city also happens to be home to a state park with a naturally flammable gas port that folks can actually go up with a lighter and light that gas port.
Okay.
And for fun.
Okay. Wow.
This city was also home base to a then Q13, now Fox 13, film crew when we were filming a zombie movie here in Western Washington. A number of us on the morning show formed an LLC. We made a movie. The movie is called The Book of Zombie.
Okay.
But the city, the municipality.
I love that Adam was in a movie called Book of Zombie.
They gave us the run of an entire city block. And so we got to do everything and anything within the businesses in this block because they were all being demolished for the new city hall that was being built. Yes. So we turned bars, we built all of our sets within this city block. And when it was done, it was all demolished, torn apart.
Okay, I'm thinking smaller city. I'm thinking somewhere almost in Snohomish County. Is it something cute like Maltby or Snohomish?
Those are good guesses. You'll need to think further south.
I'm thinking South King County.
Correct.
So, and if I remember, I remember the name Slaughter. I remember it from somewhere, and I want to say it might be Auburn.
Ding.
Yes!
Auburn, Washington.
Oh!
We're going to go down so far.
And the state park is Flaming Geyser State Park.
I didn't know that.
It's a gem to visit.
Idea.
What do you do?
There's a concrete pit that you can walk up to where they actually have a port, and usually somebody's left a lighter. You can go up to the little hole in the port, and you can light the Flaming Geyser.
Do you have to blow it out after you, like when you leave,
It kind of self-extinguishes. But at one time, it used to stay more sustained like the eternal flame at, say, Arlington National, but now it kind of burps the gas. Yeah.
It burps the gas. There you have it.
There you go. Auburn also home to Emerald Downs, right?
Oh, yeah,
and
right.
It has amazing views of Mount Rainier as well.
Yeah, good point.
It is a gem, and it's featured prominently in the Book of Zombie.
Okay, most important question and this whole podcast is where can people find the Book of Zombie?
That's. I'll sum up to say not appropriate for children. Hard rated R. And, and I will also.
Is that for the violence?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Absolutely.
Any other alerts?
It is ridiculously graphic. We were young. We were learning our craft. So this is not a good film by any stretch.
Okay.
You can find it on YouTube.
YouTube. Okay, we're gonna set aside a
With
whole
all
time.
things YouTube.
We'll invite
YouTube
the
is
entire
possible.
station. And,
I love this.
Some of us are
this is
still
gonna be
here at the
great.
station. This was a long time ago.
Okay,
Bring it on.
we need a movie night.
You can also find it on DVD because it got released eventually on a dual DVD disc set at the time called The Ultimate Zombie Feast. That's available on Amazon.
Are you a zombie or are you a human?
Yes, and I had a very heavy role in this. I wrote the score to it. I did a ton of work on it. It was a very involved process.
Wow.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Zombie violence.
We should put a link so you can buy it on Amazon. I love it. Okay, we're gonna have a movie night. I can't wait. I can't wait. Great city, by the way, Adam. That was
Well
awesome.
done.
Yes,
Yeah,
well done.
that was
Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful week. We got some warm temperatures coming our way. Ow! Friday and Saturday look amazing with sunshine, and we should be close to 70 degrees on Saturday.
Can't wait.
Enjoy. And thank you for joining us for the Northwest Weather Podcast. By the way, if you have any weather questions, you can send them to Abby or myself. Any traffic questions, you can send them off to Adam, and we would love to answer your questions here on the podcast.
Yeah, if you have transportation stories specifically too, because I am really curious to know what people are worried about. You know, for instance, we weren't going to have Revive I-5.
Yeah.
And now the state's coming back saying, nah, not so fast. There's some pretty big closures we're going to have to take care of here in North Seattle. So we'll be dealing with that in the next couple weeks.
All right.
To look forward to.
Send them our way, and have a great week. We'll see you at the next episode here at the Northwest Weather Podcast. Take care.
See ya.
Northwest Weather is available wherever you get your podcast.